Well, hi there, and here we are again at insidetracks.co.uk, the website that's trying to help you trade smarter. If you like this video, then please do subscribe and like it. Or if you don't bother to leave a comment. Well, do actually, and I might just get better if you've got something to say that's worth looking at. So what we're going to do today is to take on the topic of scalping, what it is, and I'll go through that in some detail so that you've got some idea of what we're talking about, and decide whether it's for you or not. It's quite a good way of making a little bit of money, but it relies on you getting it right most of the time and getting it wrong very, very little. The one tip that I could pass on that might be useful comes towards the end of this video, so you can jump out now if you don't want to stay. But there is a tip at the end that could help you to double your profits, and I think that's quite a good one. So maybe you should stay. I don't know. Up to you. Basics of scalping, right? What you're trying to do is get one tick profit. That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to do anything great here. You're just trying to say, okay, I am happy. If you go to Betfair and you look at the transaction point, you'll always see there's somebody willing to bet for a horse at a certain price, and somebody who's prepared to bet against it at a slightly different price, and it's called a tick. And all you're trying to do is to back it at the higher tick and then lay it off at the lower tick. It's pretty simple. You're just trying to get hold of that one tick difference that sits there without the price going against you if you've backed it. So therefore it goes in. Or if you want to lay it, it rushes. Well, the other way around, rushes in, and if you backed it, rushes out. So we need to get the orders matched quickly. You don't want to be hanging around with the position. The ideal, of course, which doesn't happen, is that you back something at one price and you lay it at the one tick lower, and they both get matched exactly the same time. That would be the perfect scalp, but it doesn't happen like that because orders get matched at different speeds, and there's money going on, and prices change. So it doesn't always happen, but the absolutely fantastic, ideal scalping bet is that you bet on the higher price to lay, and the lower price to lay, and the higher price to back, and you get a one tick profit immediately. So that would be the best thing, but you are looking for the price to be matched. So that's important. Your horse, the horse, whichever you choose, this is to help, and this is to give you some idea, because some people just go, oh, I'm going to scalp this market, and they'll just choose any old horse, and they'll think that you'll get a good scalp working. No, you need to be very, very careful about the horse you choose. It needs to be an overweighted horse, and I will tell you how to look for an overweighted horse in just a second. So it needs to be overweighted. It needs to be trading in a tight range and have been doing so for a while. And it needs to be in a market that has liquidity. So why don't I just pause there, and I'll come back and show you how to get to tell whether the horse is overweighted or not. So here you go. Here's the typical race. It's the 7 o'clock at Kempton today, and we're just going to have a quick look and see whether this horse, Madame Tatsi, is overweighted or underweighted, and we'll use my fantastic underweighting, overweighting calculator to tell you the difference, or to tell you whether it is or not. So we go into our particular chart for this horse, and we see that the total amount that has been put on this event is £29,735 so far. That's the total amount. Counting up all the bets on every horse, that's how much has been bet on this race so far. So it's just before 6 o'clock, so it's now to go. Kind of what you'd expect, and if you don't know, 80% to 90% of all money that goes onto a race will go in the last 10 minutes, and certainly most of that in the last 5 minutes. So when we're an hour away, we don't expect that to be a lot of money. But we can tell whether this horse is over or underweighted by looking at the amount of that 29,000 that's been put onto this horse, which is £19,506. That's the total of all those little amounts down the bottom here. We can see there's a £1,000 bet here. So 19,500 of this money that's been put on the total race is on this horse. And the last price match was 2.1. 2.1. Okay, so we remember those numbers. In fact, I'm just going to move that across, and we can stick those numbers into, I'll just minimize that. We can stick it in here. So the market total was 29,000. Bloody hell, where it goes. So let's just do that. 29,735. Yeah, 29,000. Come on, matey. 29,735. There we go. And the total on this horse is 19,506. Yeah, 19,506. And the odds. The horse's odds were 2.1. Yeah, 2.1. 2.1. There we go. Did we do 2.1? I thought we did 2.1. 2.1. Yeah, there we go. No, it's just not showing up the 0.1. So we'll just sort that one out for a minute. Hold on a minute. Here we go. Is that right? No, the other way. Go on, 2.1. There we go. So we can see that 29,000 on the total on the market, 19,000 on this horse, 2.1 the odds, and therefore the weighting we can see is very, very heavily weighted horse. This is a highly weighted horse. You would not expect that amount to be on this horse if that's the odds. So that's what we can tell, and you can do that with the weighting calculator. It's free on Inside Tracks on the home page, so you can download this spreadsheet, and you can do it for yourself anytime you want. So there you go. I've just shown you how to tell whether the horse is overweighted or underweighted. You put it in there, and it'll tell you. The horse we looked at was heavily overweighted, so suitable, in my opinion, to be traded. It was trading in a tight range, around about 2, and it was in a market that it hasn't got liquidity, so I wouldn't start scalping it. Now, liquidity will come, as I've just said. Most of the money on any race, no matter what, comes in the last 10 minutes. So that's when you're going to scalp. Okay, so your strike rate needs to be high. Because you're taking one tick at a time. You're not taking big chunks out of the market. You're just taking little tiny chunks out of the market. So by taking little tiny chunks, you are quite clearly, you can take lots of tiny little chunks and lose one big chunk, and it will take it all away. So you need the strike rate to be high, and you want to try and minimize the risk you have. So, for instance, if you're taking one tick out of the market, you don't want to suddenly see the market drop by 5, 6, 7, 8 ticks and leave you with a big loss, because it takes a long time to get a big loss back. So you need to minimize the losses, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And trading at the tick breaks makes sense. And this is where I am now going to share with you this. You're going to say, tick break, what are you talking about? Well, the tick break is these. On Betfair, not every tick is worth the same. Hooray. That's actually an advantage you can take. So from 1.01 to 2, every tick is only worth 0.01. Between 2 and 3, it's worth 0.2, twice as much. So, and from 3 to 4, it's worth 0.5, 0.05, and so on. So you can see actually at this tick break, between 3 and 4, we move from one tick being worth 0.02 to it worth being 2.5 times as much at 0.05. And that's what happens at the 0.5 to 1 mark as well, and at the 2 to 5 mark as well. So you have one tick break, the tick breaks that are worth 100% more, 0.01 to 0.02, and tick breaks where the tick is worth 2.5 times as much. So it's very interesting that if you were going to start scalping a market and you see a horse that is at the 3 mark, then you would be gaining 0.05 whenever the tick went from 3.05 to 3, and only losing 0.02 if it went from 3 to 2.98. So therefore, at that tick break, you have actually 2.5 times gain every time you get a tick versus when you lose a tick. So you can actually double or more than double your gains by trading at the tick point than by trading ordinarily, where you're trading within these corridors where every tick is worth the same. So that's my one big point, is that you should be trading around the tick breaks. Now, that was the idea behind this video. I'll be doing another video showing you how to scalp and how to do it, how to tell more about the horses to choose. But hopefully that's given you a taste for what's going on, and gives you one tip. If you already do some scalping, maybe you go, oh wow, I didn't know that, and actually that will help me, because what you're doing by scalping at the tick breaks is you are actually winding up saying, by the way, I'll lose one tick, I'll lose 0.02, I'll gain one tick, I'll gain 0.05. And that's quite interesting. And if you can wait and wait for the horses, that's the important thing, is to actually wait for the horses that will do this. So you watch the racing during the day, and you will choose a race where there's high liquidity, or it's likely to be high liquidity, that's the last 5-10 minutes. On a Saturday, for instance, the liquidity will be higher. Then you're looking for a horse that is trading in a narrow corridor around the tick breaks, and then you would start your scalping there and give yourself more chance of winning money. There you go. So if you've liked this video, please do like it and subscribe. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them on the site, and we'll help you out with an answer, or I'll change what I've done as a result if you've got a great point, or I'll certainly include it in a future video. So thanks a lot for that. And finally, do visit insidetracks.co.uk. You'll find all sorts of interesting stuff, like our tracks facts, which will help you to understand things like pace and draws on different race courses. And on the front page, you've got some free tools like this overweighting tool, but I've also got a back to lay calculator and others, which you can get free. See you next time.